mine. I have a folder, and it has my title block right here, and it has my site plan PDF right here. The site plan PDF looks like this. So this is what I was saying, that a lot of the line work and the text and notes and things have already been created for you. So you're not going to have to draw all that line work. All you're going to do is put in some setback lines and put your house on the property. All right, so I'm going to open up the title block. Step one is open up that title block file, or after you've downloaded them. I'm going to save this. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to save it right away. So save as, and I'll call it A 1.0 site plan. Click save. Then I'm going to go to model space, and I'm going to use a command called xref, which is external references. We'll look at that starting next week. We'll talk more about that command, but that's a command that allows us to insert one file into another file. So the way to do that is to save your file first, like we just did. Then you type in the command, which is xref. Press enter. That'll open up the xref dialog. And in here, I can attach different types of files. So in this case, I'm going to click on this button in the top left, click on the little drop-down arrow, and I'm going to select Attach PDF, which is what we are doing here. We're attaching a PDF file, so I'm going to click on that. I will navigate to the folder where I've downloaded the site plan PDF file. In this case, it's right here. That's the one it's open to. Click on it and click open. Now in this dialog box, it should say relative path in the path type. If it doesn't say relative path, if it only gives you full path, that means you didn't save your file before you did this. So you have to go back and save your file, then restart the xref command. So it should be relative path. And just leave it like it is, because we're going to scale it when we get into the, after you've placed it, we're going to scale it. The insertion point, you can leave that checked, and we'll just select a place on the screen by clicking the mouse. So you click OK. It doesn't specifically matter where you put it. In this case, I'm going to just place it somewhere close to the origin. Now I do notice that my grid snap is turned on, because I can see my cursor jumping from point to point to point, and that's a good, it's a good time for me to remind you that for the most part you should turn that off, and you don't need to use that when you're drafting. As long as you're using your object snap and ortho or polar, you can draft very accurately and precisely. So you don't need to have this grid snap on. So the button to turn it off is down here, or you can press F9. That'll turn it off. So I'm going to press F9. All right, so now it's off. So now I can move my cursor around freely. Click right here, and there is my site plan. So once we have it placed in the file, we're going to scale it based upon a known dimension. And we have some known dimensions up here. If we look up here, we see that from this point to that point, it's saying it's 30 feet. And from this point all the way across is another 30 feet, so that's 60 feet all the way across. So we can use that dimension to scale this. So I'm going to start the scale command, click up here in Modify. That starts the command. I'm going to click on the PDF somewhere, click on the line work. When I'm done selecting the objects, I hit Enter, and then I'm going to specify a base point. And in this instance, it doesn't matter where we click, but I'm going to click somewhere close to where I'm working, which is right here. What's important is at this point now I'm going to select the reference option down here in the command line. So there is the reference option right there. I can click on it, or I can just type the letter R, either one, and press enter. Either one will work. So I click on reference. It's going to ask me to specify the reference length. So that's the length that it wants to, what is the length on the object that you want to change. So I'm going to click this point and click that point. That tells AutoCAD that that's the length I want to change. So I clicked those 2 points. Now it's going to say, what do you want that length to be? And in this case, we know we want it to be 60 feet. So I'm going to type in 60 feet and press enter. It's going to look like my drawing has disappeared because it's gotten really big. So I'm going to type Z, enter, E, enter, and that'll zoom extents. And there is the site plan now scaled up. If it's correct, if it was done correctly, I should be able to measure from this point to this point, and it should be 60 feet, which it's just a tiny bit above, but that's okay. This is, as long as it's relatively close, then we're okay. Okay, because this is this drawing is it needs to be close, but it can't be more than an inch accurate at this level. So now that we have that XREF'd in this PDF and we have it scaled, we're going to draw in the setback lines. So I'm going to make a layer for the setback lines. And let's just review real quickly what those lines are. So down here, the layer is C-setback, and the front is 25, the side is 5, and the rear is 15. Okay, so come in here, go to Layer Properties, New Layer, C-setback, all capitals. Change the color. I'm going to make it, in this case, I'll make it yellow, which is on the thinner line side once we print it out. So it's and I'm going to set it to be a dashed line. So I'll click on the dashed line, click OK. All right, so I have the lines here, but I can't use these because if I click on this, this is one object. This PDF is one object. There's no line work here which we can use. So we have to draw over the top of it, and then we can offset those lines. So this, again, this is the front side, this is the back side. So 25 foot on this side, 15 foot on this side, and then 5 foot here and 5 foot here. So with that, I'm going to change to that layer. So C, setback. I'm going to start the arc command, just the regular arc. I'm going to do start right there. There's the midpoint is right there, and then one right there. So I just traced right over the top of it. Now I'm going to use the offset command. Type in 25 feet for my distance. Click on the line, and then click that direction. Okay. Doesn't look like my layer took, so I have to click on my line, select this, and then go to the layer. C setback is right there. And I can see that the line type scale isn't correct. So in this case, I'll just type LT scale, enter, and the scale factor most likely is going to be 196. Now, one thing to note is that just because the line doesn't show here doesn't mean that it won't show correctly in the viewport in Paperspace. So even though it shows correctly here, it might not show there. So it's always a matter of going back and forth. But right now I'm just going to use the LT scale. I'm going to type in 192, and that's about right. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing I did. Use the arc command, 3 point, click 1 point, click the middle point right about there, and then click the end point right there. Okay, then offset it. On this side, it's going to be 15 feet. And then I'm going to use my favorite command of all, right there, match properties. Click on the button, click the object that has the properties I want, click the item I want to match the properties to. So you can see that it just quickly changed it to the layer that I wanted. All right, so on the side, start the line command. From that point, this is a straight line, so from there to there, draw it on this side, straight line. From there to there, offset 5 feet. There and there. All right, and I can erase those original lines, that one, and that one, and that one. And then I'm going to use match properties. Match, match, match. Okay, so there are my setback lines.